Alright, welcome back, my Quackshonauts. We're back with some more Genshin Impact, and today we're going to be going over your free 4-star pick. As you all know, we're in the Latern Rite event right now, and we will be getting a few choices in terms of a free 4-star, between a selected few of 4-star characters actually, that we'll be able to choose from. So without further ado, I'll try my best to give some insight on what 4-star character you guys should choose. Alright, so stand by me. So as you guys can see, these are the 6 4-star characters that we can choose. The options are Xiangling, Xinyan, Beidou, Ningguang, Xingqiu, and Chongyun. Right off the bat, I feel like most people by now, I mean, there are people that just started playing the game, but you will get a free Xiangling copy from the Abyss, right, 3-3. And I feel like choosing Xiangling, unless you actually like main the character, right? I probably wouldn't go with Xiangling as one of your free pickups. C1 is not that important, the C2 is kind of eh. I feel like the biggest power spike for Xiangling is C4, so maybe if you're close to the C4, I can see you possibly choosing as an option, maybe for the C4. But again, she is a unit that we all get into the game for free anyways, so I feel like Xiangling is probably the least desired choice for most players, unless you really like the unit. Xinyan, I feel like, is a very niche pick. She is very good. I feel like if you're close to her C2 or her C4, then yeah, because the C2 is very versatile between both DPS Xinyan and support Xinyan, right? So basically what the C2 does is that your fizz damage hit on her ult has a 100% chance to crit, right? So you always be critting your ult, so if you're running for Xinyan as a main DPS, it's good. If you're running her as a sub DPS and it's using her for burst spam, getting that 100% guarantee on your ult to crit is very massive. Also as well, you get the shield at level 3 as well, right? So C2 is a huge power spike on Xinyan, and C4 is also good as well. It's another like massive power spike on Xinyan as well, right? You get 15% physical resistance shred whenever you press the E button, basically for 12 seconds, right? So if you do plan on using Xinyan in like a physical comp, maybe based around super conduct, let's say you have Razor as the main DPS, you have another unit that helps him proc super conduct, and you have Xinyan there to further decrease the physical resistance, then I can see you possibly grabbing Xinyan for the C4 as well. The C6 basically allows Xinyan to do more damage. It's more for her DPS, right? So basically you have a 30% decreased stamina consumption on your charge attacks, and also all of her charge attacks gain an attack bonus of 15% of her defense, right? So this basically screams out main DPS Xinyan. So if you're close to the C2, maybe the C4, C6, then she might be a good pickup. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about Beidou. I feel like constellation-wise, the C1's pretty good. You get a shield whenever you ult, right? And that absorbs up to 16% of Beidou's max HP. And it also has a 2.5 times stronger shield against Electro. So I feel like C1 is good, C2 is pretty good as well. Whenever you ult, basically the lightning jump to 2 additional targets. The C4 is also good whenever you take damage. Within 10 seconds, Beidou's normal attacks gain a 20% additional electro damage. So I think the C1, C2, C4 is pretty good. So the C6 basically gives you an electro resistance shred to surrounding opponents by 15%. So if you are running Beidou with a main electro DPS carry, you will get some more damage there, and also during the duration of her ult, you get more damage out of the ult as well, right? Alright, so let's look at Ningguang. If you need a good main damage dealer, I think Ningguang will be really good as well. Especially with the 1.3 buffs in terms of Geo Resonance getting buffed, right? Geo Resonance is really good right now. So I feel like in terms of Ningguang's constellations, C0 you can definitely put in some work. If you do need, again, need a good main damage dealer, then yeah, you can take Ningguang as an option. The C1 is really good, especially for main DPS Ningguang. The C2 as well is where I personally think she shines a lot in this aspect, because basically you get your Jade Screen, which is her E, on a 6-second cooldown whenever you shatter the Jade Screen. C6, very self-explanatory. Whenever you ult, Ningguang gets 7 star Jades, and this is just basically more DPS potential whenever you ult, right? So if you do need a good main damage dealer, Ningguang will be a very good pickup in addition to your party. Okay, so Xingqiu is a very good unit. He's a good, I feel like more so a sub DPS. You can definitely build him as a main DPS, but I feel like his role as sub DPS is way more valuable. So basically, his C1 adds one more rain sword, And when you pop the E, right, as you can see down here, the initial maximum number of rain swords is 3, right? So when you pop the E, you get the maximum number of rain swords, which is 3. So basically, the C1, and as well as ult, you get the 3 rain swords as well. You get the maximum number of rain swords, as you guys can see here. So when you pop E or pop Q, you get 3 rain swords. With the C1, you basically get 4. So that's the C1. But I feel like the C2 on him is a major power spike. So this basically increases the duration of his ult by 3 seconds, which is absolutely massive. So if you take a look here at his ult, the duration on his ult is 15 seconds, right? So with the C2, he basically gets the extra 3 seconds, which increases the duration of his ult to 18 seconds in the C2. As well, you get an increase of hydro resistance of opponents hit by each sword by 15% for 4 seconds, right? So the fact that the C2 increases the duration of his ult by 3 seconds, as well as decreases hydro resistance shred to the enemies that get hit by each rain sword by 15%, right? So there is like no stacking to this, but his C2 is very, very huge. C3 basically increases his E. The C4, I think the C4 is a pretty massive spike as well, but this is more so to, I guess if you have him more so on the field more often, like if you're running him as a main DPS, you'll probably get more potential in the C4, but this is a pretty decent power spike as well, but I feel like not as important as the C2. So basically in his ult, when you activate 2 of the rain swords, right, when they hit, third rain sword will do an increased amount of damage, as you guys can see here, and you'll also get 3 energy whenever the rain sword attack hits opponents. His passive talent allows you to get a 25% chance to refund a portion of your crafting materials used, right? When you're crafting talent material books for your characters to level up their talents, you have a huge chance on getting that material refunded, which in return saves you a lot of resin. So this character is very, very resource efficient. If you're a lower level AR, high level AR, it really doesn't matter what AR you are. Like this talent, I feel like is probably one of the best talents in the game. I feel like Chongyun is a very, very niche pick here. He's a very, very good sub DPS. And if you do have, for example, let's say if Diluc is the main DPS, you want to plug him into like a melt comp, you can definitely shine there. If you do need a cry unit in general. So in Chongyun's normal attack sequence, on the last attack, you'll do 50% of Chongyun's attack in terms of cryo damage to all nearby enemies. The C2, your elemental skills and your burst cast within his E, which is a frost field, will have their CDs decreased by 50%. So the C3 will increase the damage of his ult. The C4 basically is just an energy battery. Anytime you hit an enemy that's affected by cryo, you will get 1 more energy on Chongyun, and this can be a crit every 2 seconds. So C4 is not that useful in comparison to C1 and C2. So the C6 will be doing 15% more damage when the opponents have a lower percentage of their max HP remaining than Chongyun's. So if you're fighting an enemy with a lower max HP percentage than what your Chongyun's at, let's say your Chongyun's at like 80% HP, the enemy that you're fighting is below 80% HP, then you'll be doing 50% more damage on your ult. If you have none of these characters, I would probably go with Xingqiu, right? Because overall, especially if you're trying to min-max your units and get the most out of your resin, his passive talent is just very, very like irreplaceable. In my opinion, again, one of like the best passive talents in the game. I would say Xingqiu is probably one of my top picks here if you have literally none of these characters on this list, right? Minus Xiangling. If you need a good main DPS carry, I'd probably go with Ningguang, especially with the 1.3 G resonance buffs. She's an absolute monster. Dude, this unit is just absolutely amazing. I love Ningguang. Especially if you're close to her C1, her C2, her C6. Like, they're huge power spikes. I feel like the C2 is where, again, she really, really starts to shine. So if you are lacking a good main DPS carrier, I would probably go with Ningguang. Beidou is also a very, very good pick for main DPS and sub DPS. I feel like if you're putting her into an Electro Charge comp, she's a very, very good choice and a very, very good pickup as well. Xinyan, again, I feel like is very, very niche. Maybe you're running a comp built around Razor, or you're close to the C6, you want to make her as a main DPS. Again, it's very, very constellation reliant with these characters, right? I feel like the biggest power spikes with Xinyan is the C2, the C4, and C6. Again, this is totally up to you in terms of what character you want to choose. There is plenty of good choices. We're all in different aspects of the game, and a certain choice may not be best for one person in comparison to another person, so just try to choose what's best for you. Alright, so we've come to the end of the video here. Hopefully this does help you out. I know this will depend on where you are in the game in terms of like constellations, again, your weapons, etc., etc. But nonetheless, if you guys have any other questions in terms of what character I should choose, you know, how it'll fit my team comp, definitely feel free to leave that in the comment section below. Again, hopefully you guys all enjoyed, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Told my brothers one day we gon' make it. We just gotta grind for that paycheck. Mama told me one day I'll be famous. Remember when she used to say she hate this.